Hey everybody, George here. I'm going to demonstrate how to use some of the options here on the menu system that Gimli and I call the tweaker. And the first thing you need to do when you get your table started up is to press either the special 1 key, or you can press either flipper key to open up the tweaker. And the first tweaker that shows up is the game tweaker that you see here. You can go to the next tweaker by pressing the special 1 or either flipper key again, and they'll go to the lighting. And then you can press the special 1 or the either flipper key a third time, and it will go to the PhysX. And then if you press the special 1 or either flipper key a fourth time, and it will exit. Now I left this game in the startup mode here, with in just the attract mode, and that's before you press the start game key. And that's because the cabinet guys have a way to operate the whole system by using only the flipper or the plunger keys. And there on a cabinet, the HUD toggle key will be turned off. So the HUD that you see in the upper left corner, that will be turned off automatically. And I have some code that can detect when this table is played on a cabinet, and it will automatically turn off the HUD. So let's just go ahead and do that. Now then, what we want to do now is to open up the tweaker, and we'll do that with the shift key. Now I suggest that if you're going to perform a complex evolution on the menus, on the tweakers, that you might want to attach your keyboard to your CPU on the cabinet and operate the system using the same keyboard keys. But if you're just going to perform a simple evolution, like maybe you want to change the lighting mode to something else, and that's really all you want to do. Now you can press, let me turn the HUD back on again here. You can press the L key on your keyboard, and it will automatically change to the different lighting modes that you see right here. I'm just repeatedly pressing the L key. And anyway, that's I'll turn the HUD off again. Since the cabinet guys cannot press an L key on their cabinet buttons anyway, what we can do is just do the same thing that I just did, only with the tweaker. Now let's just press either the left or the right flipper key, and we'll open up the tweaker. And now you can see that it opens up on the apron of the table and puts everything down there. That's because the cabinet guys can't display a HUD on their cabinets, because it actually squeezes the DMDs and the overlays together, so you can't really read them very well. But okay, we've got the game tweaker open now, and we did that by just pressing one of the flipper keys. We'll just go ahead and press a flipper key again, and we'll open up the lighting. Now, the plunger key will go up and down, will go down this list that you see on the lighting tweaker. So let's just press the plunger key one time, and there you can see we're on day mode here. Now, suppose we want to change it to a different mode, and you can press either the left or the right flippers to change the mode. And I just pressed the right flipper, so you go to dusk, night, dark night, just by pressing the right flipper. Now you can go the reverse direction if you want to by pressing the left flipper, and there you have it. And if you want to go, it does actually go in a circular motion. So if you press the left flipper right now, it will go to the dark night mode there. Well, I pressed it a little too hard there. There we go. So anyway, let's say we want it on the day mode. And so that's selected. Now what we do is to press the plunger key, and that will go down through the parameters that are listed. And we have to go down to all the way down to the bottom. These keys, those options I'll show you later. I'll talk about them anyway later. This is the save settings option here. And so you can either press your left or right flipper key to save the settings. And so we'll press the left flipper key, and it saved them. Now all you got to do is exit, and we can press the plunger key again, and it will exit. The same keys will work on a keyboard as well. Let me change this view back to. That's pretty much it for the cabinet, guys. You can actually perform everything. It's just that it's a little bit more inconvenient, but you can do it. And like I said, you probably want to do something complex with your keyboard attached to your CPU. But anyway, let's go ahead and start the game up here. And I want to show you a few things here, and we're going to turn the HUD back on again. And open up the tweaker again. I'm just going to use a special one here. And the keyboard guys, instead of pressing the plunger key to go down this list, you would just use your down arrow key. And then the balls per game is something that can't be changed during the game, so you've got to do that before the game starts. That's the limitation of Future Pinball. One thing you can't do on the using a flipper or the plunger keys is you can't go up. So just like this, you can't go up. You can only go down. And when you go all the way down to the bottom using your arrow keys, you'll just recycle through the same options again. The only way you can exit the tweakers on a keyboard is just to repeatedly press your special one key. And this is the option for the HUD. You can press the HUD toggle key, or you can use this option here just by selecting that. And I don't need to move my camera around again, but that's it there. And let's just keep going down, because there's some things I want to show you down below here. This is the PUP volume. This is the same as what you might see in some of you probably have seen it anyway, in the script. And you can just adjust it here if you want. I'm just pressing the left and right arrow keys here. This is the volume for the ball rolling when it's being used on a desktop. It's as big. We call it the Future Pinball ball rolling max sound. That's another option that used to be in the script that I added to the tweaker. But this is the option I wanted to show you. The cabinet guys, they use this, and the ball rolling sound a lot of times is not loud enough for them to be able to hear it. So I have actually set the Future Pinball volume down quite a bit lower than what I would normally use it. In fact, you can see it's set quite a bit lower than the default. Anyway, what you can do here is just use your right or left arrow key, and you can just change it to this actually changes the volume of every sound on the whole table, and it reduces it by the amount that you see. in increments of 0.05, and which is kind of cool. In fact, the other parameters are listed down below here. And let me just show them to you here. This is the background music volume, the loud game sound. This is the surround sound feedback option here for the cabinet guys, and well, it also works on future pinball. But it probably they have. Well, I won't spend time explaining it, but it works a little differently. And the soft game sound, and this is another surround sound feedback option. They're loud, special effects, soft. The soft means that it's the lower volume special effects. There's some that come across as being loud, and the others are not so loud. And then there's the last one of this group is the volume of voice quotes. Let me go back up, and I can show you what happens here. Let me just do a left arrow key, and it'll go to the option that has the most adjustment at a minus 0.3. And we'll go through this list again. Now you can see that the background music is down by 0.3. So is that one. Now this is the surround sound feedback option. Now that's set to 0.7, and when its default is 1, and you could increase this back up if you so desire. Okay, so we can just go ahead and put it back up to 1, and or it can be set to whatever you want. And then we'll go down to soft game sounds. And this is the other surround sound feedback. And notice it's set to 0.1 or 0.7 also. But we can raise that back up to 1.0 or whatever point in between you want to use. And then all the rest of them are all reduced by 0.3 as well. Except for that. Oh, that's the that's the ball speed volume. That's unrelated to the tweaker option there for this option up here for your adjustment of your presets. That's what it looks like when you go back up to the option for your presets. Now notice here that it says save settings now, and you currently have unsaved settings. If I were to arrow left or right now and go through those other default and the other options that are there, these changes I made will disappear and they'll go away. So I'm just going to press the S key right now to save, and now you can see that the user settings been saved, and there's more choices to the left and right. So now you can safely go to these other options, and you can still listen to those and play them on, and actually you can use it to compare with the setting that you saved. So let's just go ahead and turn the volumes up on the table here, and I'll show you the differences of the that's pretty good right there. Okay, so what we'll do is just launch the ball. Now you can hear the ball somewhat. Let me set it back to the default, and you can tell a difference. I mean, you can hear it, but it's not real prominent. It's actually kind of, I don't usually like it real loud myself. And then we'll go to, and you can tell that the music is a bit louder. Oh, it just fell into a kicker there. And so what we can do is just go back to the way we saved it. And in fact, let's just go back to the -3 sound. Now you can tell that it's quite a bit louder now. It's actually, but you can tell when I switch back and forth here that the music and all the other sounds are actually louder. See, like that, this is default, and you can see music is set to 0.65. But now we're down to the -3 setting, and that's the 0.35. Or we'll just go on over to the default. Now then, so that's one way to increase the volume of your sound of the ball rolling, even though you have a limitation on the pup volume because it just reduces all the other sounds. And I can do, I don't think, from my understanding is they don't, cabinet users don't have sound for the ramps, but that it all works for the ramps too. You can tell that there's a ramp sound there. And if you really want to even increase the sound level more, you can try even reducing this background music a little bit, and then you can hear it better this way. I don't think the ball rolling sound was ever meant to be just a really prominent sound. It's just something that you kind of it's just something that's kind of a something that kind of enhances it. It makes it feel like it's more of a real table, but even on a real table you can't hear the ball rolling all that loud. So anyway, there's that. Let me set it back to the default, and I will lower these volumes again. And let's just go back to, let me show you some buttons here. I failed to show those to you earlier. You've got various options here. And let me just kind of go back to all the defaults here, and I'm going to go over to the next tweaker and show you a lighting here. And we're just going to stay on day mode here. We can make adjustments on any mode. Actually, you know, there's a lot of guys that like a dark mode, and I've seen some that like them even much darker than I have here. So if you want to make it even more dark, you can do that right here. Now this is the gamma. Okay, let me explain here. The top number that you see there is what they call a volatile memory. In other words, it works like a word processor. When you're typing up something in a word processor, if you close the file without saving changes, all the typing that you just did will go away. You won't be able to retrieve it again. Well, that's what happens here. So then the startup are where your settings are saved to, and the default are the settings that I have added into the script, and they are up near the beginning, and you can change them if you wish, but there's not really any need to. So what we can do here is just let's just try increasing the gamma on this. Or actually, well, I guess if somebody wants it darker, they can make it darker like that, say. Which it's not too bad. I don't mind that. The one thing it won't do is the shadows that you see coming out from underneath the slingshots. Those are what we call shadow maps, and I don't have a control for that. So if you want to adjust that, you can adjust the brightness of the shadow map inside the script. and you can make this whole table even darker. But anyway, I think that looks good enough for right now. So what we want to do here is we want to save that. Now, I showed you the save option on those options down below. And let me just I can get there by arrowing up. And there you see it. Well, there's these other options that you see. There's a setting for default and a setting for startup. And it will reset. And I'm going to show you just how that works. But the first thing I need to do is to save. Now, if you read up above the DMD there, you can see that there's some keyboard keys that you can use to do those same things as the save, reset to startup, reset to default. And so what we're going to do right now, I'm going to press the save key. Now you see that the startup has changed to the same as the number in the volatile memory. That means that from this point on, it might close this table out and restart it up. That value for gamma tweak on the dark night mode will now be set to 1.15 instead of the default. Now let's say you want to go back to the default, so I want to compare it. Say you change some of these other settings down here, like this is the diffuse, that's the ambient. Let's say we want to reduce one of these others, like that does something there, and then the GI brightness will. So you want to make it go like that. Anyway, so anyway, you can change all kinds of things. One thing that works here, how this works, is you can see that I have not saved these new values because of the startup. So what I can do now is just go ahead and save those settings, and now you see those, all of them appear. So what happens when you save, it actually affects all the options on the whole tweaker. So what we can do now is I can show you, well, we're going to reset to startup, and that's the U key. If you look up to the top of above the DMD there, you can see you can press the U key to go to startup. Now, of course, well, that was already on startup, so we'll go to default. And now you can see it's changed to default, and you can see that the lights on the table changed as well, back to default. And you can just kind of go back and forth here. We can go to the startup by just pressing the U key, and we can go to default by pressing the D key. Just kind of back and forth. And you can compare the two, see which one you like best, or if there's something you want to change. And that's pretty much it for the options there. Just remember, whenever you save, use the reset to startup or reset default. It will affect every option in here. And if you made a change to one of them, like say this PF insert brightness, if you made a change like that and you reset to default, it's going to go away because I haven't saved it. See, just kind of watch here. See, so you got to save, then you can use your reset to default or reset to startup. That's the basic navigation option. I mean, every single option works that same way. It doesn't really matter what tweaker. I just did it on the lighting tweaker, so because it's you can see what I'm doing. Like all of the changes are real time here, but some of the options aren't really quite as visible as the lighting. So I'm just going to reset to startup, reset to default. I mean again, and save, and we can exit out of this. Let me go through another tweaker. This is the PhysX tweaker. I actually made this work. Actually, this is the option I changed, and then I used the same same method of coding it as I did the audio preset volumes that I showed you earlier. And it works the same way. This controls, instead of the 9 volumes that it controls on the Game Tweaker, this one controls 3 settings on the PhysX. And it combines this one for the threshold and these 2 coefficients that you see down below here. Those aren't easily understood by most people, so I created this option here that actually makes adjustments to those. And so, and the bounce off the flipper, let me show you what that means here. I'll go ahead and start up the game here. Oh, I gotta turn the ball roller off. Let's see here. Now this is very low bounce. This is just the bounce off the flipper, okay? This is what I prefer, okay? And so you can see there, it doesn't bounce off the flipper all that much, but that's the way I prefer it. But if you want more bounce, you can increase this, and we can go all the way up to the most bounce is that option right there. I believe this is probably higher than what anybody would want to use, but you can see that it's quite high. And it's so that's much higher. And for those of you that like Terry Red's tables, I've changed these PhysX options, these narratives that you see in the text down below. I've added the setting that's in the all-in-one example table. And those tend to be what Terry Red uses on his table. So, you know, so if you want to make it play something like Terry Red's table, you would want to set this one to a 6 because it says option 6. Loads the original values for the parameters of these. And so these are the settings that Terry Red would use for these 3 options. And in fact, you can see that down below this original value says 2500 in the text of the overlay. It matches what it says up above there. And so that's the bounce options. There's table slope. That's if you go through and set all those original values, this table will play pretty much like one of Terry Red's tables. The Flipper Omega, he does adjust somewhat, well, sometimes, and he does adjust one of the others, but he doesn't vary too much from this rolling effect. He normally uses a 0.9. I used it a little bit higher here. But, well, that's pretty much everything I had to show you there. There are many options in here that you can experiment with, but every one of them has this overlay that explains what it is, and so it kind of will help you out. Let me see if I'm missing something here on the raycasting and one thing I failed to mention is that Slam Tilt created a alternate music mode for the music, and you can let me turn the volume up a little again, and you can see that it switches. That's the original music, and that's the movie mode that Slam Tilt had entered. There's some options here. I provide an option on the back wall, sidewall art that you can change out. The speaker grill is up above here. Give you two options there for that. And another thing, I probably should show the desktop people. Let's just kind of go all the way down to the bottom here. And these are the camera views here. This one is really close to the full table 2 view. Let me just go ahead and push the F2 key here, and it will switch it to the full table 2 view. But you can see that it raises it up so the top of the table is cut off, and you can, I think it looks a little better with the top of it so that you can see the back wall a little better. There's other options here too. Lots of options. There's like 14 or so options. I believe that's the one that Gimli likes the best. And so anyway, that's that. Oh, and one other option. This is an option that I think most people are not going to want to use, but it's for people have what they call, some people do anyway, have a photophobia is what it's called, and they're sensitive to flashing lights. And there's a mode, multi-ball mode, during this game that basically has a strobe effect, and I'm pretty sure that would trigger this kind of problem for these folks. And so I just set it up so that you can turn it off. The strobe light, it will, in other words, when you turn it off, instead of having all the flashing lights like you would have during the strobe multi-ball mode, it would just look exactly like it does right now, and you would not have any strobe effects, but you could still play the mode exactly the way it was intended, and just without all the strobe effects. And I think that might help some people. Photophobia, as I understand it, can cause anything from just a bad feeling, not feeling well, and then all the way up to a point of where they might actually have a seizure. But that's the extent of what I know about it. And so that's an option for them, and probably not going to be used by very many folks. That's all I have to talk about. I appreciate you all listening to me, and I'll see you all later.